My name is Dominic Fratangelo. My father, Nick Fratangelo, was a great storyteller. Growing up, anyone I met that knew my father always had a story to tell about him. Here are a few of his stories. My dad was born in Aliquippa, Pennsylvania on July 5, 1913. When my father was 6 months old, my grandmother, Teresa, became terribly homesick. The whole family returned to Castellina del Baferno, a small town in the mountainous Abruzzi region of Italy. My father stopped formal schooling at age 8. He began his apprenticeship as a stonemason. He was not permitted to pick up a hammer until he was 17 years old. In his hometown, there were 200 men. 150 were stonemasons. In 1935, when my father was 22 years old, Benito Mussolini, Italy's leader, declared war on Ethiopia, an African nation. My father volunteered for service and rose to the rank of sergeant in the Italian army. A story he told about his service in Ethiopia recalled how his platoon was at ease by the roadside, sitting on a large log, and the log started to move. It really was a snake. In 1938, my father came back to the United States. He did not have to go through Ellis Island since he had been born here. He settled in Aliquippa amongst the large Italian population. This made it easier to acclimate to America. When World War II broke out, of course, he was drafted. He was never sent overseas. He could barely speak English. He served in the coastal artillery and in a ski patrol. He was promoted to sergeant in the American Army as well. Often, he would take his platoon into the field for drilling. He would say, "Calisthenics in the usual fashion," and everyone would lean against a tree and light up a cigarette. He couldn't yell at the soldiers because he barely spoke English. After the war, he met my mother, married, and raised a family. My father took great pride not only in his heritage, but in being an American. One 4th of July, he carried my 3 sisters, while my older sister and I held onto his legs as he took us to watch fireworks in the park. I had the pleasure of working with him and saw that he was quite a craftsman. Once we spent the whole morning building a fireplace together. After a lunch break, my father tore down all the work we had done in the morning. When I protested, he told me, "Son, people are going to look at this fireplace for 100 years. I have to make it right." Even today, I can still drive around the city and see my father's handiwork. He spent time during his retirement hanging around in Market Square in downtown Pittsburgh with other retired friends. One day, Mayor Caligiuri came by and asked everyone, "Who is the mayor of Market Square?" Everyone pointed to my father. Yes, my father was a great storyteller, but then his life itself was a great story.